citizen, kingdom citizen, yeah, yeah. Kingdom citizen of Wisconsin. Kingdom citizen, yeah, yeah. Kingdom citizen.
Hello, my name is LANESHA, and I'll be your host today. Welcome to Kingdom Citizens of Wisconsin. I'm here to interview Dr. David King, candidate for 2026 governor. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you, ma'am?
I'm good. So first, I'm gonna do a little bit about myself. I was born and raised in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I am a 26-year-old current business major at Central State University, based in Ohio. Shout out my HBCU.
All right.
Um, I'm a mom of two boys, 7 and 2. I have big plans to open up a major beauty business in upcoming years. When I think about my state governor, I think that it's important because they directly impact my kids' schooling, access to healthcare, and whether childcare and housing is affordable. I begin to gather questions, wondering how they plan to support young moms and aspiring entrepreneurs like me in a community like mine. So, you ready to get into this?
I am ready if you are.
All right. So, first question. I know you're a man of God first.
Mm-hmm.
How do you plan to incorporate your faith into governing, or do you separate faith and governing?
Well, first of all, there's no such thing as separation of church and state, first of all. Secondly, um, who I am as a man of God helps me be a man of integrity, a man of honesty, a man that looks out for the people and not himself, a person that is become a servant and become selfless instead of selfish. And as a man of God, I think it's important because even the Bible says when the righteous are in office, the people rejoice. Why? Because they know that a person that is connected to God is going to make sure that their lives is better and they're not trying to be a dictator or oppressor.
Okay. I like that answer. So, when you come across people with religious, different religious backgrounds, how do you come to that situation?
Well, first of all, I do not go into a religious debate because I'm not a religious man. I'm a kingdom man. I'm a citizen of the kingdom of heaven. I'm an ambassador for God to represent. So my job is not to see who's right or who's wrong. My job is to get with them, have a conversation on what we have in common. You know, they might be a business owner. Okay. So we have that in common. Small businesses is the one that needs to thrive because it's not the government that may create jobs, it's business owners that create jobs. So I find a common goal with them to work together for the betterment of all men.
Right. So, dealing with people with different religious backgrounds isn't hard. It doesn't matter. You
No,
believe what you believe.
it's not hard because if I'm confident in who I am, I can walk out the principles of God in my life. And the principle, the number one principle of God is to love everybody.
Mhm.
So I can love you. I don't have to agree with you on everything, but I can find a common goal that we can work together to make Wisconsin better.
Okay, I love that. So next I want to talk about what life experiences have you what life experiences have you had to shape your understanding in our society, leadership, and lifting up the community?
Wow. I like that question. For those who don't know, these are not questions that we set up and did before the show. This is straight off the cuff.
I made sure I could write to keep up with the program. So I typed a couple, but he haven't heard nothing.
I haven't heard no question. So the first way to answer that is my mom. My mom was a mother. She was a single mom of seven with my sister, six boys and one girl. And after her and my father divorced and separated, my mom raised all of us. And in raising seven children, she opened her door to everybody. Anybody needed a place to stay, they could stay with us. No matter how big the family was or not, they stayed with us. She always looked out for people in the community. I remember a young girl going to school in the wintertime in a dress and dress shoes because that's all they had. And my mom took her in the house, changed her clothes, sent her to school. When school was out, the girl came back to our house. Mama changed her clothes back and sent her home in the clothes that she was going to school in so that she can be taken care of. So my desire to help other people have a better life came from my mom. I ran a transitional home for men that was getting off of drugs. I ran a transitional home for single moms that lost their place, and we taught them how to budget and get back on their feet. I before COVID, I was transporting 450 people a day to work. I was helping them get jobs. So I've always been one that wanted to be out there in the community. And then God led me into the political arena, and I saw the political arena. I didn't like what I was seeing in the political arena because both sides will always tell us they there for us, but they never really was there for the people. They just got the people to buy into their agenda, and their agenda never made it better for the people.
Okay. So next, I want to talk about entrepreneurship.
Hmm.
Entrepreneurship has been huge in the late coming years, and I want to know how you plan to support entrepreneurship if you're elected as governor.
Well, that is awesome because an awesome question, and I'll tell you why it's an awesome question. I'm a business coach and a consultant. All right, we don't need another politician in the governor's seat. We need someone who understands business in the governor's seat.
Mhm.
Because if you got to understand the governor is the CEO of the state. All right. You got to run it like a business, right? And so for me with entrepreneurs, I know the ins and out of business. I can help them promote their business. I can set up programs to help promote their businesses. I can help them get a building as to be an incubator for small businesses to grow. Teach them that their business has to become unique because every billionaire, every millionaire is a problem solver.
Right.
So if I'm going to get with the entrepreneurs, I'm going to ask them a question: what problem are you solving?
Mhm.
Okay, and what makes you unique when it comes to business? For example, McDonald's, what's unique? Big Mac. Burger King, what's unique? Whopper, right?
Mhm.
So when you look at what makes you more unique than any other one, if you open up a t-shirt shop, what makes your t-shirt shop different than somebody else? Well, my t-shirt shop, I'm only going to deal with babies from infants to 2 months to 2 years old. Now, a mother know exactly where to go and find that baby t-shirt because I'm designing only infant t-shirts. So now my t-shirt business is more unique than just a t-shirt business.
Right.
So I would even come in and teach a class to entrepreneurs to teach them how to subdue the market and how to better their vision for their business.
Okay. So I know a few things I had a problem with navigating when starting my businesses was like licensing. It's a lot of terminology that's not in layman's terms, and a lot of times it deterred me from getting that LLC or filing that paperwork that I needed. So I want to know, how will you make licensing, taxes, and compliance easier for entrepreneurs just starting out?
Okay, first of all, you have to look at it. You can't look at it from a state level. You have to look at it from a city level, a county level. And the reason you have to, because the state can say one thing, but the city says something else. All right. Sometimes a lot of businesses leave a city because of regulations. You like you say, you got to jump through too many hoops, and they can go to the next county. And I give you an example. I had a friend of mine who owns a business who wanted it here, but it was too many rules and regulations. He moved it out and into another county, and he called me up and said, "Come here, I want to show you something." And I went out to his company. His business was growing so much, he needed a new driveway to bring trucks in and out. and he said, "See this? If I was in Milwaukee, driveway, I'm out here and county you in to deal with regulations.
Okay.
But I will, from a state level, I will do what I can to help have different individual organization, private organization, not create a new thing in the state that's making government bigger. I'm trying to shrink government. We don't need a big government. We need a smaller government. So I would get private agencies that will work side by side to help understand the language, understand how to get the business. Those that I know taxes, I would put them in there. Those that know how to get business loans, I would connect them in there because these are the people that I work with already that I know their heart is in it for the people. And so I will go and get what the individual needs to be empowered. I don't believe in handouts, but I do believe in hand ups.
Okay. Okay. I love the solution for that, by the way. I think that's a good idea. Um, Next, what do you think about, or what is your take on expandment for startup funds, access to funds for small businesses?
There are organizations now that are giving up startup funds, and if those organizations getting state money, I want to go in and look at it to see if they're setting them up for failure or if they setting them up for success. And what I mean by that is a lot of times when people try to open up businesses, you got three things when you try to open up a business. You can have a business, right? So you either got a hobby, it's just making a little money, ain't making no money, or you got a business, or you got a debt.
Mhm.
So we need to figure out what you got. Because if you got a debt and I'm giving you money, you're going deeper in debt. Because sometimes it's not the money. Sometimes it's your plan. Sometimes it's your location. Sometimes you be like, oh, I'm gonna open this up and it's gonna be, and then you're in the wrong location, and then you end up closing. So I do a class called Man Minute class. I teach them how to manage their minutes when it comes to their business. I teach a class called Leveling Out the House. And in that class, leveling out the house, you have to know if you better in the front of the house or in the back of the house of your business. Everybody got a business. It's not good in the front of the house dealing with customers. And everybody that has a business is not good in the back of the house dealing with the products and the labor and all of that. So we teach them so they'll know where they at. If you don't get the information, you're setting yourself up for a failure.
Okay.
So my job is to make sure that information is there, the knowledge is there on how. I will partner with some of my friends and other people across the state that have successful business but now retired to say, hey, listen, we need you because the small business owners is the backbone of our country. It's not big corporations, it's the small businesses. So we need to make sure that the businesses in Wisconsin are thriving. The business in Wisconsin have what they need to be successful. And so a lot of times it's just misinformation. They don't get the information.
Okay. So when you're elected as governor, these classes you teach, you plan to pass down, have
Pass
someone.
down, give it to someone else to,
Okay.
to teach. And I wouldn't mind doing a guest appearance and teaching the class myself because as a governor, I think we got to stay connected to all the people. I don't think just sitting up in Madison it makes you a good governor. I think a good governor is one that's involved, not just in the inner city, but involved in family farms, right? To make sure that they're not being overtaken by big corporations taking over farms, that China is not buying up all our farmland. We got to make sure we protect small family farms as well. So you got to you got to be involved, and I'm involved. I have another friend of mine. He has 400 acres. He had 3 farms. So I'm getting the information from the farmers, what they're dealing with and what they're going through. So in order to be a successful governor and to have a successful state, you have to know what's really going on and not just somebody giving you information.
100%. So I was actually going to save this question until the end, but
Uh
we kind
oh.
of hitting on it now.
Come
So
on.
I just want to ask, so when you're elected, how do you kind of already said, but in what other ways do you plan to like stay grounded and connected to the people?
Um, Having quarterly county meetings. We have 72 counties in Wisconsin, and I'm planning on being at every county. So if I have to do so many counties a month to get to every county to make sure that I am concerned about them, because every county have different issues. Okay. So I want to go in to know what your issues is. I don't want somebody begging for money, but the money never get to the problem. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I I want to know why you need this money. You know, what are you going to do with the money? How this money is going to benefit the people of that county or that city. I have watched money come into the city of Milwaukee, never got to the people.
Right.
So I want to make sure accountability is there.
Okay. So next, I want to talk about schooling. What steps do you plan to take to make neighborhoods and schools safer? Safer.
Safer.
Hmm.
There's a couple of things that I see and have seen that works, right? One is male presence. When men are in there, it's like kids understand authority when a man is there, right? I think when we go to education, I don't believe one education system fits all. I think each county has different needs. I think we need to be better off with special need kids because they have a lot of challenges. I think we need to be able to identify kids that have mental challenge because you can't put them in the classroom with somebody that doesn't because they either get bullied or it get messy. I think we need to define the needs of each school. I am all for us going back to reading, writing, and arithmetic, not indoctrinating our children. I want our children to become critical thinkers. I want them to go back to cursive writing because they don't know how to write. So if they don't know how to write in cursive, how can they read the beginning of our country? Writing is all in cursive. So how they gonna read it? So we got to go back to cursive writing. I want to see home ec back in schools. I want to see shop back in schools, right? I want counselors back in school because you got kids that are equipped for college, but then you got those that are geared and equipped for careers in plumbing, electrician, so in trade. So what we need to do is we got to identify that and make sure we're setting our kids up for success and not failure. Because if a child get past the third grade and can't read, we just set that child up for failure. If the child get to the eighth grade and can't read and do math, we set that child up for failure. So we have to go back and we have to look at it and says those teachers that really want to teach, we got to untie their hands and let them teach. And so with the security side of it, I think we need fathers. There was a school that had riots all the time. They had fights all the time. Down, I believe it was in Arkansas or Alabama, and the men decided to go into the schools. They there every day. And do you know, no more brawls, no more fighting. I think if we go back to neighborhood schools so parents can get there to the kids right away instead of trying to go way over to the other side of town, I think. But a lot of the neighborhood schools in the city of Milwaukee done turn into apartments, so it's going to be hard to do that. I think we need um, a three core covenant between the parent, the school, and the child. And what I mean by that is the parent and the school come together to invest in their child education, and that child also commit to invest in his education. Right now, you got the kids standing on an island, the teacher on another island, and the parents on another island. And that parent only come off that island when the schools tell them the teacher don't like them. So I think we need to bridge the gap. I think we need to make a real covenant, and not only with the parent, because some parents, especially single moms, they can't afford to leave their job. So what do? We got to partner with other parents and say, hey, listen, I need your help with my child. If my school call, I'm gonna put you down. Go up there and see what's going on for me. You know, and if we hold, there's another example of accountability, because if I got someone that I can send in my place to deal with what my child is dealing with and to report to me, then my child know they can't get away with it. So I think that we got to hold each other accountable, but we also got to help one another. You know, we got to stop saying it ain't my child. If my child is acting up at home, I know he's gonna act up at school. If my child is cussing at home, I know he's going to cuss at school. So we got to stop saying that's not my child and figure out what's the issue. Why is my child acting like this? Because a lot of time they're doing that to get attention.
Right. Another important thing we miss in school, a money management class.
We used to have money management. We used to have accounting in school, where we had accounting class. They taught you how to balance a checkbook. They taught you how to write checks.
Never learned it.
Never.
Never learned it. Still don't know today. We could talk about it.
Well, yeah, we get that too, but we got to put that back. We got to put financial literacy back in school. You know, the reason I want home economic back in school, because we got to teach our kids how to eat healthy. They need to know how to eat healthy.
Yeah. Same for, I feel like, money management. I didn't know nothing about credit until I was graduating from high school.
Right.
So just stuff like that. Definitely missed. Another thing, how do you feel about metal detectors in school?
I like that.
Okay.
I like that. I don't want that, because now you're training their mind like they're criminals or anything. But if that's going to keep the kids safe, I like that.
Do you feel like it's necessary? I would just speak in the county that we're in Milwaukee.
It's definitely necessary in Milwaukee.
Okay.
When you look at all the fights that's happening in schools today in Milwaukee, in high schools, and how out of control they driving cars on the school lot and all of that. Yes, because I want the children to focus on education, not focus on safety.
Right.
They need to focus on learning. They need to focus on enjoying that high school experience where you're not fighting, prom and homecoming and all of those things that, is part of life, what I mean? People today be like, man, I miss homecoming, or I miss my prom, or our kids should be able to enjoy all of that.
Right. One more on schooling. You talked about how sometimes we get large lump sums of money for certain things, but those things never get taken care of. So how do you ensure funding for public schools, as well as making sure the funds get used for the right things?
Accountability. It's accountability. It's if you're telling me that the state gave you so many millions and your teacher doesn't have what she need for her classroom, then you got to show me where the money went. So and the thing about it is, nobody want to hold anybody accountable, because here's the thing: it's not comfortable. Right. It's not comfortable to do the right thing. You just go along and get along. You might use it in a campaign speech, or you might use it for a press release. But you will say transparency. We haven't had transparency yet, because if we had transparency, they wouldn't get reelected. So they're not looking at the next generation. They're looking at the next election. And so with me comes accountability. You got to show me what you're doing with the money. You got to show me why this classroom doesn't have what it needs to maintain or to give proper education. Because if parents got to get a note saying you need to bring tissue, you need to bring sanitizer, you need to bring this, you need to bring paper, you need to bring whatever they need to bring, because the school is not getting it, then where's that money going? That money is administrative. That money is with that union. So my thing is, how come that money is not getting to that classroom?
Okay. So, just a little understanding for me. Do public schools get a certain amount in funding per year or
Yes,
okay.
per
Okay.
child,
Okay.
actually. And you know, when you look at the money, right? It's just like any nonprofit organization. Um, the biggest part of your money go to administrative.
Mhm.
It doesn't go to the classroom.
Okay.
Um, so what we would need to do is we need to look at again where the money's going. If this money was allocated for the classroom, why it's not in the classroom?
Right.
You know, what is the budget of that school? How much money did that school get? Where did the money go for that school? Did it go into the classroom? How come we don't have home ec? We don't even have in some schools, we don't even have music no more.
Right.
So where's the money? How come we don't have money for that? But we got money to continue to give raises to those that's in at the school board.
Right. Understood. Okay, let's talk about after school. Um, what programs will you offer to help young adults gain job skills or college access?
Now I'm finna put this on. Um, I'm gonna put this on the church. Okay.
Mhm.
And let me tell you what I mean by that. After school programs, um, preparing for college, those should be programs that's sitting inside of our churches. All right. Public schools came out of the church. Church was the first school. Public schools came out of the church.
Okay.
We turned everything back to the government to do what we supposed to do. We supposed to be preparing our kids. Those kids after school, they should be at the church. During that time, they should be doing their homework. During that time, they should get a hot meal if they know they're in a community that a lot of them is not eating. That's our job as a church. We supposed to feed them children. You know, most churches got youth ministries. So why not? Why are we not preparing them? So creating another program, you steady growing government, right? Because
Okay.
you're steady growing. We don't want to grow government, but what we can do, the government can do, get some private donors to help support what the church is supposed to be doing. Because a lot of them are going to say it's about the money. Okay, well, if it's about the money, then if you're doing it, then we got it. Churches should be preparing them for college if they're going for college, right? Churches should also partner with business owners that has construction companies that are Look how many people sitting in the church that are plumbers, that are contractors, right? Who better than them to show those children the way to become a plumber, a construction worker, but also showing them how to walk in integrity even in the business world.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So those things I put back on us because all the professional people we have in our churches, we got college professors in our churches. Shouldn't we be the ones instead of the government doing it?
Right.
It should be us.
Okay. All right. Next question I have. How will you make sure I'm sorry, black communities and underrepresented voices are heard in your administration?
I'm gonna change your words. I'm gonna say all communities that are not being heard. Instead,
I like that. Okay.
okay, instead of saying black community because I don't want to push. I don't want people to think I'm gonna be the governor for everybody.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm gonna make sure everybody is at the table. Everybody can eat. All right, but the reason I didn't want to just use a color is because of the fact that when you representing God as a man of God, my job is to make sure everybody is taken care of. And those that are less fortunate is not only black because there are more whites on welfare than there are blacks. Okay. So they need help. You got Latinos, they need help. But I will make sure they all at the table because again, I will make sure that they are being heard. They're not being heard right now. They're being used for a vote, but they're not being heard. Look how long you 26, right? 26 years old. How many times you heard we blacks gotta overcome? We blacks gotta have a better life. We blacks gotta do better. A lot. How many times have it happened? It haven't.
Yeah.
Right? But they keep telling you this. But why didn't they open the door so you can have it better? Right. Or show you how to have it better? Because if I keep you with a victim mentality, then you're going to always look and blame somebody else when it's you who ain't got up to go do nothing. Okay? I tell people all the time when people say, well, as a black man, how do you feel? I say, I'm not a black man. I'm a dark-skinned American. I know my rights. I'm going to exercise my rights. There's nothing that I can't do, or there's nothing that a white man can do that I can't do. I can do whatever I desire because this is America. And in America, you can be whatever you want to be. If you want to be a drunk, you can be a drunk. I always say just be the best drunk, drink top shelf. If you're going to do that, right? Because you have the right to land, you have the right to life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, and property. So if we have these rights, then why don't I use them instead of sitting around saying somebody else is hindering me? I'm hindering myself. So for the black community, I will empower them that you ain't got to stay here. You can if you want to. You don't got to stay here. You have the opportunity to grow. You have the opportunity to be empowered. But you got to ask yourself, what's hindering me? And a lot of time, it's the education part that's hindering. Not that they're a felon, because I know many felons that have successful business. So it ain't the felon. It's the lack of information. The Bible says, my people perish because of lack of knowledge. We ain't got the information. We got the information that they want to give us, but we don't have the right information on how to prosper. Same thing I'll go and tell a Latino. Same thing I'll go and tell that white woman that's on welfare. You don't have to be on welfare, right? You can get off of it and you can have a better life. Now, the question should be, what would I do to make welfare different than what it is right now? Okay. And the reason I say that is because right now, welfare is designed to keep you down. Welfare is designed to hold people on the plantation of welfare. And what do I mean by that? If you go out and get a job, you got 2 boys, and you say, I want to do better for my boys, and you go get a job, and you tell them you got a job, and it depends on how much money you make, they snatch your child care, right? Yep. They snatch your food stamps, right? So why would we snatch it? Because you're trying to be successful. What we should do is wean you off by allowing you to start this job, by allowing you to do good on that job, to get a promotion, and we wean you off. We don't take it from you to punish you, but we encourage you by weaning you off. Okay, we might be paying $700. Okay, now we're gonna take that down to $500. And then as you practice and getting on your feet, being stable, then we'll take a little more, and then we'll take a little more. Then guess what? You ain't gonna never need welfare again. But if I continue to snatch it from you, then you're never gonna get up and try, because it's hard. You're gonna try to figure out how I'm gonna pay childcare and buy food and pay for medical, right? Because all of that I had before I wanted to better my life. But the moment I want to better my life, you want to snatch this away from me. No, we have to wean people off welfare, right? So we have to redefine welfare on how we deal with it when it comes to the poverty level, because, right now you can make $17 an hour. You still poverty. You still poor. Why? Taxes is going up, inflation, everything going up, but your salary. So how you going to survive? Food is high. How you going to survive? You're not. So guess what you do? You stop trying and take what they offer.
You're exactly right. I'm glad you got that figured out.
Yes.
You really understand.
So we have to get in a place where we are literally, as a government, assisting you to be self-sustained, self-sufficient, than being depending on the government.
Mhm.
So this is one of the things that I want to see happen, is because it's so many want to go get the jobs, right? It's so many that want to do some things, but they can't come on in, but they can't do them. Why? Because if they do, they get punished to stay on the plantation. We got to show them how to get off the plantation.
Um, I think we touched on everything. I like how you redefine some of them questions and put it in the right place and still answered it. You didn't just shoot me off like, no, not that. So I like that. Real clear. You seem like you understand.
Oh yes, and the thing that we have to realize and understand, that we're talking about everyday lives. We're not talking about um, being a Democrat or being a Republican, because when you ask them the questions, when you ask a Democrat the question, why you ain't did this yet for the black people, the Democrats will say, oh, it's the Republicans and they won't let us do it. And then if you ask a Republican why you didn't do A, B, and C, they'll say, oh, because the Democrat, because it all depends. The Democrat governor will say it's the Republicans that's hindering me. The Republican governor says the Democrats that's hindering me as an independent. I can just get up and say, ain't nobody going to hinder me, no matter what they try. I'm going to use the mic as a bully pulpit and say, this is what we want to do for you guys. These are the people that's holding you up.
That's all I got for you.
That's all you got?
That's all I got for today.
That's all she got for
I'm
today?
gonna come with like 10 questions tomorrow. Like, and I forgot this.
Well, you can come back with any more. And let me say this: any other person that wants to be the host, she's my host for today on Kingdom Citizens of Wisconsin. Any one of y'all that would like to be the host, any one of y'all that want to sit in her seat and ask me questions about me running for governor of Wisconsin as your independent candidate. I'm your candidate. I'm not a party candidate. I'm not. And the reason, let me just say this: the reason I'm not a party candidate, because this is warfare. This is spiritual warfare, good versus evil. This is about your children's future, your future. And David went to battle against Goliath. And when David went to battle against Goliath, Saul told David to wear his armor. And if David would have worn Saul's armor, he would have to try to fight like Saul. David said, I don't want to wear your armor. I'm going in the name of the Lord. If I would have ran for governor as a Democrat, I would have to have the Democrat armor on. That means I would have to speak like them. Even if I don't agree with it, I have to speak like them to get their votes. If I was running on a Republican ticket, I would have to wear their armor and speak like them. But I don't want to speak like them either. I want to run as a bold man of God, as an independent who want to put the people first, want to come up with solutions instead of blaming people for the problem. I don't do dirty politics. I'm not going to sit there and talk bad about somebody. I'm just going to speak truth, and then I'm just going to go forward to be a blessing to everybody else.
Perfectly said.
All right, then. So we want to thank everybody for watching. You got any final words? You want to say anything to them?
No final words for me.
None?
Thank you. I could close up the show though as the host.
Okay.
Thanks everybody for joining today. See you next time.